Hi, I'm Christy. I want to talk to you today about sensory issues. I should note beforehand that I am not a medical professional. This is not meant to diagnose or treat anyone. It is for informational purposes only. I want you to imagine some of these scenarios with me. You're at a birthday party with your 3-year-old, and suddenly your 3-year-old is going into a full-blown meltdown. Only because you told them it was time to join the other kids and do what they were doing. Now you might be saying, been there, done that, what's the big deal? Well, this is not just your normal 3-year-old meltdown. This is a top of the lungs screaming, inconsolable, have to leave the party kind of meltdown. No end in sight. Or imagine being at home and your daughter asks you if she can have something and you say, no, sorry. And she goes into a full-blown meltdown. Melts down for an hour. You finally get her to start calming down, and then it takes her another hour to pull herself out of the meltdown and come back to normal life and to join the family life. So you're talking 2 hours from happy child to happy child. Imagine listening to your teenager tell you that sometimes I smack myself and then laughing about it like it's something funny. Or fighting with your son to get dressed every single day. And you ask him, well, what's the big deal? Just put the clothes on, let's go. And he's like, but I don't like how they feel on me. They bother me. You finally find 2 outfits that he'll wear without a fight. And then you look at them more closely and discover it's the same outfit in 2 different colors. Imagine watching your child walk into walls and laughing about it repeatedly. Imagine your daughter covering her ears every time you're in a public restroom because flushing the toilet is too loud. Imagine your teen hitting you because he doesn't want you to give him a hug. So what's the commonality here? These are all examples of different sensory issues that people deal with every day. Some people would look at these and say, oh, they're just misbehaving. Make them behave. Teach them how to behave better. And that's a great concept. The problem is that when you're dealing with sensory issues, it's usually a matter of seeking out more sensory input or overreacting to sensory input because you've had too much stimulation. And so you're not thinking rationally. It's not as simple as stopping a behavior. These things are usually an instinctive responses. And so it's not done on purpose even. It's just they're seeking out or they're trying to avoid stimulation. So these examples may sound extreme to you, and you may think that they're rare, but they're not. A lot of these have happened to me personally, and the rest of them I have no problem believing that they happen every day to regular people like you and me. So one of the places that I did some research is Dana from Lemon Lime Adventures. And she says that 1 out of 6 kids deal with sensory processing issues, or sensory processing disorder. Now, sensory processing disorder is an often misunderstood diagnosis. It is fairly common, especially in young children, but there are ways to help a person learn to respond to this sensory input in a more appropriate manner. And while they may never fully go away, like I said, you can learn coping skills, and many times you can make sure that there are fewer extremes and fewer meltdowns and some of the negative behaviors that go with that. My oldest son does have sensory processing disorder, or SPD, and so a lot of this I've lived. But I've also done research for this series, and I've gotten a lot of new information. It's gotten me looking at things in a different way. So I hope that as we go through this season, I can give you an overview of what this complex disorder looks like a little bit and point out possible solutions for you. As we continue on this journey and we discover how to manage sensory issues, I hope that you can join me in saying that life is good and there is never a dull moment.